You know that feeling when you see something online and your entire world just stops? When your heart drops into your stomach, your hands start shaking, and you can't quite believe what you're looking at. That was me. 6 months ago. Scrolling through social media on an ordinary Tuesday evening, and there it was, my best friend's face, smiling, confident, standing in front of a massive banner with a logo I'd never seen before. But the words underneath that logo? Those words were mine. The tagline, the concept, the entire vision I'd poured my soul into for 2 years. Except now, it had a different name, a different brand, and my name was nowhere to be found. This is the story of how my closest friend stole my dream, turned it into their empire, and left me standing in the ruins of what we'd built together. Or so I thought we'd built together. But before we get to the betrayal, before we talk about the theft and the lies and the moment everything came crashing down, we need to go back to the beginning. Back to when things were simple, when friendship meant something, when I actually believed that loyalty still existed in this world. Because that's where every great betrayal starts, isn't it? With trust. Let me tell you about Marcus Chen, my best friend since college, the guy I'd shared countless late-night conversations with, the person who knew my dreams better than anyone, the friend I thought would be in my life forever. We met during freshman orientation at UCLA. Both of us were business majors, both ambitious, both hungry to make something of ourselves. We clicked instantly. Over the next 4 years, we were inseparable. Study sessions that turned into philosophical debates about entrepreneurship. Weekend trips where we'd sketch out business ideas on napkins. Countless coffees where we'd dream about changing the world. After graduation, while most of our friends scattered across the country chasing corporate jobs, Marcus and I stayed in Los Angeles. We both wanted to build something, create something, make an impact. He went into marketing, I went into tech development, but we stayed close. Best friends navigating the real world together. Our weekly coffee meetups became sacred. Every Saturday morning, same coffee shop, same corner table. We'd catch up on life, complain about our jobs, and most importantly, we'd dream. We'd talk about startups we wanted to build, problems we wanted to solve, the legacy we wanted to leave behind. Marcus was always the better talker. Charismatic, smooth, knew how to work a room. I was the behind-the-scenes guy, the strategist, the one who could see the systems and structures that would actually make things work. We balanced each other perfectly. Or at least, that's what I thought. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way Marcus would always steer our conversations toward my ideas rather than sharing his own. How he'd ask me to explain my thoughts in detail, sometimes even asking me to send him my notes afterward. I thought he was just being a good friend. Engaged, interested. I didn't realize he was taking inventory. The idea came to me on a random Wednesday evening in March, 3 years ago. I was frustrated, burned out. I'd been working at a tech startup for 2 years, and I'd watched the company struggle with the same problem over and over again. Connecting creative professionals with the right projects at the right time. The platforms that existed were either too broad or too niche, too expensive or too cheap, too complicated or too simple. There was no middle ground. No solution that actually understood what creative professionals needed. And that's when it hit me. What if we created a platform that wasn't just a job board or a portfolio showcase, but an actual ecosystem? A place where creative professionals could not only find work, but also collaborate, share resources, build communities, and grow their skills. What if we combined the best parts of LinkedIn, Behance, and Patreon, but made it specifically for the creative economy, for designers, writers, videographers, musicians, artists, all the people the traditional job market often left behind? I was electric with excitement. I couldn't sleep that night. I stayed up until 4 in the morning, filling notebook after notebook with ideas. The platform structure, the revenue model, the community features, the way we'd verify credentials and build trust, how we'd handle payments, the gamification elements that would keep people engaged. I called it Creative Hub in my notes. Just a working title, but it felt right. By morning, I had a 20-page document outlining the entire concept. And the first person I wanted to share it with? Marcus. That Saturday, I practically ran to our coffee shop. I was bursting to tell him. I slid into our usual booth 15 minutes early, my notebook clutched in my hands, my leg bouncing with nervous energy. When Marcus arrived, he could immediately tell something was different. "All right," he said, grinning as he set down his coffee. "What's got you so wired? You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't," I admitted. "Marcus, I think I've got something big." His eyes lit up. "Tell me everything." And I did. For the next 2 hours, I walked him through the entire concept. The problem, the solution, the market opportunity, the competitive landscape, the revenue streams, everything. Marcus listened intently. He asked questions, good questions, the kind that showed he was really thinking about it. "This is incredible," he said when I finally finished. "This could actually work. This could be huge." "You think so?" I asked, needing his validation. "I know so," he said firmly. "This is the idea, man. This is the one you've been waiting for." I felt validated, seen, like all those years of dreaming with Marcus had led to this moment. "I want to build it," I told him. "I'm going to start working on this seriously. Nights and weekends at first. But I want to make this real." Marcus nodded enthusiastically. "You absolutely should. And hey, if you need any help with the marketing side, the brand, and any of that stuff, you know I'm here. We could even collaborate on this if you want." My heart swelled. "Really? You'd want to be part of this?" "Of course," he said, reaching across the table to clasp my shoulder. "We're a team, right? Always have been." I left that coffee shop walking on air. I had the idea of a lifetime. And I had my best friend in my corner, ready to help me build it. What could possibly go wrong? The next 6 months were a blur of productivity and excitement. I threw myself into developing Creative Hub with everything I had. Every evening after work, every weekend, every spare moment was dedicated to bringing this vision to life. I built wireframes. I created user flow diagrams. I researched the market extensively. I even started teaching myself advanced coding to build a working prototype. And Marcus was there every step of the way. At least, that's what I thought. We'd meet regularly to discuss my progress. I'd show him my latest designs, my newest features, my updated business model. He'd offer feedback, suggestions, ideas for marketing angles. You should really emphasize the community aspect, he'd say. That's what will differentiate you from the competition. You need a better onboarding flow, he'd suggest. Make it feel more personal, more welcoming. Have you thought about partnerships with creative schools? He'd ask. That could be a huge user acquisition channel. Every suggestion was good, helpful, insightful. I'd take notes on everything he said. Sometimes I'd even send him my documents afterward so he could review them more thoroughly. Just want to make sure I understand your vision correctly, he'd say. I want to give you the best advice possible. Looking back, I was handing him a complete blueprint, but I trusted him. He was my best friend. Why wouldn't I share everything? Around month 4, I noticed something strange. Marcus started asking very specific questions about the technical side of the platform. How exactly are you handling the payment processing? He'd ask. What's your database structure for managing user profiles and project matches? He'd inquire. Have you figured out the algorithm for matching creatives with opportunities? He'd probe. These questions felt different from his usual marketing-focused input. More technical, more detailed. When I asked him why he wanted to know these specifics, he'd laugh it off. Just curious, he'd say. I like to understand how things work end to end. Plus, if I'm going to help you market this thing eventually, I should understand the full product, right? Made sense. I answered every question thoroughly. I even created a comprehensive documentation of the entire platform architecture, the features, the technology stack, the user experience, the business model, everything. I shared it with Marcus so he could understand the full picture. I essentially handed him the keys to the kingdom, but here's what I didn't know. Marcus had been taking every single piece of information I'd shared with him and compiling his own version of my documentation. He'd been screenshotting our conversations, saving every document I sent him, recording our brainstorming sessions on his phone. He was building a case file, not to help me, but to steal from me. Around month 5, I started noticing Marcus becoming a bit distant. Our Saturday coffee meetups became less frequent. He'd cancel sometimes, claiming work was crazy or he had family obligations. When we did meet, he seemed distracted, less engaged. He'd still ask questions about Creative Hub, but his energy felt different. Rushed, like he was checking boxes rather than genuinely collaborating. You okay? I asked him one Saturday. You seem off lately. Yeah, totally fine, he said, forcing a smile. Work's just been insane. Big project I'm working on. Pretty secretive stuff. Can't really talk about it. A secret project? I asked, curious. That sounds exciting. What kind of thing? Can't say yet, he said, tapping his nose mysteriously. But it's big. Could be career-changing. I'll tell you all about it once it launches. I was happy for him. Excited even. My best friend was working on something important. I had no idea that secret project was actually my project. Over the next few months, Marcus and I drifted further apart. It wasn't dramatic, no big fight, no falling out, just a slow, gradual distancing that felt almost natural. He'd take longer to respond to my texts. Our coffee meetups became monthly instead of weekly. When I'd try to tell him about Creative Hub updates, he'd seem politely interested but not engaged like he used to be. That's great, man, he'd say, glancing at his phone. Really coming together. I convinced myself it was normal. We were both getting older, busier with our careers. Friendships evolve, people grow, it happens. But deep down, something felt off. There was this weird energy whenever I brought up Creative Hub Now. Like Marcus was uncomfortable, like he wanted to change the subject. A few times, I caught him being evasive about his mysterious work project. "How's that secret thing going?" I'd ask. "Oh, you know, moving along," he'd say vaguely. "Still can't talk about it, though. Soon." The soon kept getting pushed further and further away. Meanwhile, I was making real progress on Creative Hub. I'd built a working prototype. I'd validated the concept with potential users. I was starting to think about raising a small seed round to take it to the next level. I sent Marcus a message in August, about 8 months after I'd first told him about the idea. "Hey man, I know you've been swamped, but I'd love to get your eyes on the latest version of Creative Hub. I'm really close to launching a beta. Could use your marketing brain to help me think through the launch strategy. Coffee this Saturday?" He didn't respond for 3 days. When he finally did, it was brief. "Sorry, crazy busy with this work thing. It's coming to a head soon. Let's definitely catch up after. I'll explain everything then. Proud of you, though." Something about that message bothered me. It felt rehearsed, distant, but I pushed the feeling aside. I had a platform to build. September came, then October. I was heads down, perfecting every detail of Creative Hub. I barely heard from Marcus at all. Maybe a text here and there, a like on a social media post. Our friendship had become almost entirely digital, and even that was sparse. I told myself I'd reach out more once I launched the beta, once things calmed down, once I had time to be a better friend. I didn't know that by then, it would be too late. By then, Marcus would already have destroyed everything. November 15th. That's the date my world imploded. It was a Tuesday evening. I was at home working on final touches for Creative Hub's beta launch, which I planned to do in December. I was feeling good, confident, ready. I decided to take a break and scroll through social media. Just a quick mental break before diving back into work. That's when I saw it. A post from Marcus, posted about an hour earlier. The photo showed him standing on a stage, professional lighting, a massive screen behind him displaying a logo and company name I'd never seen before. Collective Creative. The post read, "Today marks the official launch of Collective Creative, a platform I've been secretly building for the past year. After months of hard work, late nights, and an incredible team effort, we're finally ready to share this with the world. Collective Creative is an ecosystem for creative professionals to connect, collaborate, and grow. This is just the beginning. Link in bio to learn more. Entrepreneur Startup Creative Economy." My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. I clicked the link in his bio with trembling fingers. The website loaded, and what I saw made me feel physically sick. The homepage tagline, "Where creative professionals unite, collaborate, and thrive." That was almost word for word the tagline I'd written in my original documentation, the one I'd shared with Marcus. I scrolled down. The feature list, community boards, portfolio showcases, project matching, resource sharing, skill development, verified credentials. Every single feature was something I'd designed for Creative Hub. The website design was different from my wireframes. More polished, but the core structure, the user flow, the entire concept was unmistakably, undeniably mine. I clicked through to the About page, my heart pounding. It listed Marcus as founder and CEO. There were photos of a team I didn't recognize. A mission statement that sounded like it had been pulled directly from my business plan. No mention of me, anywhere. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, unable to process what I was seeing. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. But it was. My best friend had taken my idea, the concept I'd poured my heart into, the vision I'd shared with him in complete trust, and he'd built it without me. He'd stolen my dream and claimed it as his own. I don't know how long I sat there. Could have been minutes. Could have been an hour. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of what I'd just discovered. The secret project Marcus had mentioned months ago. That's what this was. All those questions he'd asked me about Creative Hub. All the detailed information he'd extracted from me. All the documentation I'd shared with him. He'd been taking notes, building his own version, planning to launch before I could. The distance over the past few months suddenly made perfect sense. He'd been avoiding me because he knew what he was doing. He knew he was betraying me, and he couldn't face me while he did it. I felt a wave of emotions crash over me all at once. Anger, betrayal, confusion, hurt. But more than anything, I felt stupid. How could I have been so naive, so trusting? How did I not see this coming? Every warning sign had been there. The excessive questions, the increasing distance, the secrecy about his work project. I'd just been too blind to see it, too loyal to even consider that my best friend might be capable of something like this. I opened my laptop and started going through all our old conversations. Messages, emails, shared documents. I pulled up the original 20-page document I'd written that first night when the idea came to me. Dated March 18th, 3 years ago. I found the messages where I'd first told Marcus about the concept. The timestamps, the detailed explanations, everything. I located the comprehensive documentation I'd created and shared with him. Dated June 2nd. Months before he would have started working on Collective Creative. I found screenshots of our brainstorming sessions where I'd outlined specific features, and then I compared them to the features listed on Collective Creative's website. The similarities weren't coincidental. They were identical. He hadn't just been inspired by my idea. He'd replicated it. Systematically, deliberately. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't eat. Couldn't think about anything except what Marcus had done. I kept refreshing Collective Creative's website, reading through every page, torturing myself with the details of my stolen dream. The press coverage was already starting. Tech blogs were picking up the story. New platform promises to revolutionize the creative economy. Former marketing executive launches innovative network for creative professionals. Marcus was being hailed as a visionary, an innovator, and I was nobody. The guy whose idea was stolen, whose trust was exploited, whose friendship meant nothing in the face of ambition. By Wednesday morning, I was a mess. I must have typed and deleted a dozen messages to Marcus. How could you do this? You stole my idea. I trusted you. I thought we were friends. But I couldn't bring myself to send anything. What would I even say? What could I say that would make this make sense? I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus, couldn't function. I just sat on my couch, staring at my prototype of Creative Hub on my laptop. The thing I'd spent months building, the dream that had consumed my life. And now it was worthless. Marcus had beaten me to market, with my own idea, with better funding, with a professional team. Even if I launched Creative Hub now, everyone would think I was copying him. I'd look like the thief. The irony was suffocating. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. Hey man, did you see my post? The secret project I've been working on finally launched. Would love to get your thoughts. Let's grab coffee soon and catch up properly. I stared at that message in disbelief. The audacity, the absolute shamelessness of it. He was pretending like everything was normal. Like he hadn't just stabbed me in the back. Like he hadn't stolen everything from me. Was he really that good of a liar? Or did he genuinely not feel guilty? I didn't respond. Instead, I did something I should have done months ago. I started documenting everything, every conversation, every shared document, every timestamp, every piece of evidence that proved Creative Hub was my idea, conceived before collective creative ever existed. I created a timeline. I organized screenshots. I compiled a case. Because one thing was becoming clear to me. This wasn't going to be a simple conversation between friends. This was theft. This was intellectual property violation. And if Marcus wasn't going to acknowledge what he'd done, then I'd have to make him face it another way.